This is the story of my backpacking trip through South America. I start in Ecuador, where I will learn Spanish and see other parts of the country. I continue traveling through the Colombian landscapes, from the desert to a 4-day hike in the jungle to the lost city. From there, I fly to Bolivia and meet my friend Aranka. Together we travel to great heights and the freezing cold. In Argentina, I only visit the northern part and check out the area of Salta and Buenos Aires. I cross the border to Brazil to see the Iguazu Falls and end the trip in Rio de Janeiro. After one day of rest in La Paz, we are ready to climb Huayna Potosi. We meet the rest of the group in the office, where we try on our equipment. Then we drive with the bus to base camp. First day is practice day and gives us the opportunity to adjust to the altitude. On our way to base camp, we make a stop at a viewpoint of the mountain we're about to climb. Once we arrive at base camp, we need to dress up in our full equipment and get ready for our first practice. We will hike for an hour until we reach the ice. Here we put on our crampons and get ready to practice a few techniques. There are 5 levels depending on the steepness. Level 1 to 3 is what we will experience on the actual hike. And level 4 and 5 we will do for fun at the end of the practice. As important as it was to practice going up, it was also important to practice how to go down. After completing our most important lessons, it is time for a level 4-5 practice, climbing almost in 90 degrees. Aranka was definitely feeling more comfortable on the ice than I. The guides made it look easy. I was the last one to go, but I saw so many people before me struggling going up. Only one of the 9 made it to the top. When it was my turn, I just couldn't get my spikes in the ice deep enough to support my weight. Every time I wanted to lean on them to move upwards, they got out, and I had to hold on with my arms until I got the spikes back in the ice again. I decided to save up my energy and just go down. When I finished, we all walked back, had a good dinner and played some games with the group, and went to bed early. The second day was great. We woke up, had some breakfast, packed our backpack in the morning, and after lunch we started going up to high camp. The views from the mountain were incredible. We walked on a decent path with a few rocks, and at some point the rocks formed a stairway. But most of the hike was relaxing. With a slow pace we moved up. I felt more and more confident with the altitude. In Ecuador, I had my practice on a volcano, but was discouraged of how hard climbing 200 meters were in altitude. Of course, that was on day 3 of my trip. This time I was better prepared and really feeling the advantage of that. It was time for our lunch break. One of the guys looked terrible. It was really visible that he suffered from altitude sickness, but he continued on. After lunch, it was just a few hundred meters, but it was almost straight up, climbing a lot of stairs. We arrived at high camp. Here the guides would tell us the plan for the next day, who is going with whom. One guide with 2 people. Weirdly enough, we got a guide who talked English, while I was the only one in the group who spoke Spanish. Afterwards we got dinner early and got straight to bed, because the alarm goes off at midnight. It is time to wake up and dress up, in our complete winter gear. Most of us didn't have a good night's sleep, but no time to think. We need to get to the top before the sun rises. The night was absolutely gorgeous. At some points we just rested and took some pictures. So unfortunately both Aranka and I didn't make it to the top, but it ended up being a great experience for both of us. The walk up to high camp itself is breathtaking. The views of the mountains, of the lagoons, the glacier, absolutely worth it. Unfortunately, both of us decided during the night walk to quit and return to high camp. So there was one guy who already had altitude sickness the day before. I think he quit after an hour. I think Aranka and I walked for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours more. And unfortunately then she had to decide to return as well. So we continued on with our guide. Unfortunately, I felt like a bit rushed because we were already the last group to leave, and we waited 30 minutes, I think, at least, for Aranka to be picked up. So I felt like, I need to catch up with time, and that's the worst thing you can do there, because you just need to keep going, but slow and steadily. Unfortunately, I didn't, and after that I just got dizzy. I think I walked for 3 hours at least with the dizziness, trying to eat and get sugar in my head, but it didn't work. But that was not the only reason. I just didn't have faith in my abilities on the crampons. I really felt uncomfortable on ice, I have to say. I just really didn't feel like I had a lot of grip, and especially that high with sometimes very narrow paths made my decision to quit. Yes, I think I could have gone on a bit longer, but I really did want it to be enjoyable, and I really am glad that I made the decision to accept the situation for what it was. I knew I wasn't going to make it, so for me it was, I just sat down and made pictures of the night sky and watched the sunrise from a nice spot, and then returned to the cabin. Once I was back, I made some pictures with Aranka. We had lunch and waited for the other guys to arrive. Only 3 of the 9 have made it to the top. All the guys needed to rest a bit longer, so our guide accompanied us to base camp. That gave us the perfect opportunity to soak in all the beauty of this place and make some videos and photos to remember this great adventure. hike was really beautiful and we enjoyed every part of it. And after 7 days of not drinking, it is time to celebrate. In the next part, we will travel to the northern part of the country. Our 3-week adventure continues in the Amazon.